Hey, what's up, guys? Let's continue on. 3 repeating chords, no more. But this melody still felt somewhat warm, as if a vacuum tube-based audio amplifier was used. Could there be such a luxury here? The sound was definitely coming from somewhere near the stage area. Wonder who it could be. For the record, the person playing guitar is Alyssa. Whoever that is, what's the big deal? I have better things to do. I came back to the leader's cabin. Olga was lying lazily on her bed and reading a book. Semyon, what are you doing here? That's what I could ask you too. I've forgotten something, so I came back. You were absent at the lineup. Oh yeah, I apologize. Alright. Nevertheless, you should do something useful today, just as I planned. But I have my own vision of what useful means. Like? You could go to the square to help with cleaning. Slavia's in charge there. Strange, I'd just been there and hadn't seen anyone. Or you could visit the boys at the electronic club. They asked me for a hand. I would like to avoid Shurik. Those fathers of inventions again. Finally, you could help at the sports club. What are they up to? They're renewing the pitch, fixing the benches, changing the goals, nets, and so on. Honestly, none of those options suited me. Why is she always trying to burden me with work? Seriously, except for Slavia, no one ever works here, while some people in particular are enjoying their free time with a youthful spirit. Every one of the leaders' attempts to keep me busy seems only to serve one purpose, to prevent me from finding out my current location. Really, all the deep and vital questions concerning my existence are swept away by a broom, together with all the rubbish that in litter. In my case, taking some time to work would probably pay off, but just like someone suffering gangrene and rejecting an amputation, I will stand by my beliefs. You know, I already had my own arrangements. Oh really? What kind of arrangements? She bucked up. Well, I can't just tell her that I'm really just thinking about. On the other hand, why not? No, it's too dangerous. At least now I maintain a fragile balance and nothing is threatening me. Everything seems that way. Just as I thought. What exactly she thought remained secret. You probably have not yet realized how important it is to participate in social life. This is the only way to become a pioneer capable of being a role model. I didn't want to sit through another long lecture, so I decided to accept one of the offers. Sometimes the answers in the world can be found in the most unexpected places. Or at least so I wanted to believe. So, should I choose for you? The leader's voice turned authoritative. I can do it myself, thank you. I mumbled and left the cabin. They make some interesting robots, I will tell you that. I was hoping that I could escape the obligatory work if I pretended that I'm helping the sports club. They obviously have tons of members and could probably do just as well without a single extra pair of hands. However, I'd better visit the sports ground, at least to check on there. Just in case Olga finds out that her ideal pioneer slacks off and dodges community service. You never know. I can imagine worse punishments than a public telling off at a party gathering. I wasn't really planning for that to happen. All of a sudden, I saw no cleaning, painting, or repairing, but a football match. They were playing 5v6. Panties again. The Legend of the Flying Panties, Part 2. I took a closer look at the players and recognized Yulana. I won't interfere, I'll just watch. The teams were obviously mismatched. One team consisted entirely of younger kids that looked about 12 years old. The other team consisted entirely of teenagers. Besides, they had one extra player, Yulana. Mind you, what can just one extra person, moreover, one girl do? Soon enough, I realized that I was mistaken. Yulana had a good dribbling technique, cutting through the defenders one by one. She obviously lacked teamwork skills, but they weren't even required at this level. She scored with enviable regularity. I came closer to the pitch. Hey, come and join us. There's short one man on their team. I guess that's what counts as community service around here. We've already finished everything. said Yolanda, sounding insulted. I looked over the sports ground again. The benches were freshly painted, new nets placed behind the goals. How did they manage to get through all this stuff? Come join their team. Well, given that I escaped the last time, I should indeed play now. Ball to center, we start. With the very first touch, I put the ball into the top corner with a delicate strike. Actually, it wasn't that difficult. The pitch was at most 15 meters long, and a goalkeeper of the opposing team couldn't even reach the crossbar. Sometime later, we tied it up, despite our team being 7 or 8 points behind at the start. Objectively speaking, one should note that Yuliana's team scored a couple of goals during my time here too. More precisely, she scored. She couldn't say that she was Ronald-hinding tricks or precise Beckham shots in her pocket. She would just kick the ball into open spaces, and coming up towards the goal, she just toe punted every time. However, such a dull strategy brought positive results. I could not keep an eye on every opponent, and my teammates were not much help. Certainly I played better than all of them, and theoretically, I could have scored as many times as I wanted, but it seemed unsportsmanlike to me. Winning isn't everything. It's taking part that counts, isn't it? But after Yolana's words...
Penalty shootout! The winner wins the game!
I made up my mind that I didn't want to lose. At the time it was 11-9 in our favor, so it wasn't reasonable to object.
You're in goal, I'll shoot. We'll switch then.
One shot each?
Yeah.
I stood at the line and got ready. She took a run and sent it straight into my hands.
That's not fair!
What's not fair?
I'll shoot again.
Okay, just do it, I said, smiling. The second shot would go better in rugby. One more time?
Absolutely not.
She sniffed.
But you shall never score a goal against me.
We'll see. I put the ball into the low right corner of a goal with a precise kick. Yolanda didn't even notice. However, there was no point. Penalty kicks like that are uncatchable. Looks like I won. She answered nothing and just looked at me resentfully. I needed to lighten the mood. Don't get upset. And that's when the music started playing, calling the pioneers for lunch.
Alright, I'll get even with you some other time.
She laughed, waved her hand, and ran in the direction of the canteen. I juggled the ball a little and followed her. Who is marching forward in a row? It is our pioneer squad! Pioneers in a row usually marched to the canteen in the Sovyonok camp. I was looking for a place where no one would disturb me, like what happened before. Just so I can eat in peace. And for that, I have to at least not be the last one there. But I was pretty sure whatever happens here happens whether I want it to or not. The canteen was crammed as full as an egg. Olga was standing at the entrance, guarding it like a hawk. Well, Semyon, were you working hard today? Hard enough. Well done, truly well done. And the hardest is yet to come. I just bet. Fine, take a seat next to the girls. She pointed to the table next to the pillar. Slavia, Ulana, and Lena were sitting there. Not bad company, at least not the worst. I get my meal and went up to them. Do you mind if I sit here? I call myself sounding a bit clueless. There were no other free spaces anyway.
No, of course not. Please do.
Lena remained silent. Today the small meal consisted of a plate of borscht. I suspected there was some meat lurking in it, but I had no evidence. Some poultry, chances are chickenus domesticus, with fried potatoes, and a traditional glass of compote. I found myself liking the local food more and more. I guess I just came to the conclusion that I have no other choice, which means that there is no use in complaining. Thank God there's something to eat.
Coming to the ball tonight?
I don't know.
He'll come. He got nowhere to go,
Yolanda said happily. You will come for sure.
Of course. I can't miss the opportunity to watch you make a fool of yourself.
She got it right, so I decided not to reply. And what about you? I asked Lena.
Yes,
she replied briefly.
See? You should go then,
said Slavia as if leaving me no choice.
Don't forget to wear your tailcoat.
Apparently Yulana was so pleased with her joke that she laughed out loud. But I really had nothing to wear. My wardrobe was just a pioneer uniform and my winter clothes, which would be inappropriate even in the evening. And what will you be dressed in, entertainer?
Secret.
Will it be a little dress just like in a kindergartner's matinee? Yulana turned red. Looks like I managed to offend her.
No, I will wear a biohazard suit, just so I don't catch an infection from you.
I wonder what kind of infection are you afraid of catching from me?
Enough, you guys, don't quarrel. Idiocy, of course.
Looks like Yulana was highly pleased with her, as she thought brilliant answer. You know, if you already have the flu, you can't catch a cold. Two can play at that game.
What are you implying?
Oh, nothing at all. I looked away slyly.
Do you mean that?
She went red again. I don't mean anything.
Guys.
Given that it was Elena who interfered, it probably really was time to stop.
You're asking for it. You're gonna get it.
What, you'll finally wise up? Instead of replying, Yulana grabbed her plate, filled with borscht, and tipped it over my head. This game met an unexpected finale. Oh, you little! She jumped up and tried to run away. But this time she won't get away. I grabbed her hand. And now what? I can't just smash her head against the table. The pantomime lasted a few seconds. Suddenly, Yulana skillfully grabbed a glass of full compote and splashed it in my face. That way she managed to get free of my grip. She dashed off towards the counter and I chased her. This resulted in several flipped tables, a pile of smashed tableware, 5 pioneers crippled by various injuries, and full exhaustion of both parties. A draw, sort of. A belligerent draw. With too much belligerence. We stood before each other and breathed heavily. Tell me you won't behave this way again.
And you?
Olga snuck up on us from behind. When you think about it, such a riot couldn't go unnoticed. Well, are you satisfied with yourselves now? Her voice appeared to be calm, but I was sure she was just about to explode. And who's gonna clean up all this mess? Exactly what happened.
Who, I'm asking you? Who? Him,
replied Yulana with complete confidence. Her, I objected less confidently. Both. The camp leader brought a conclusive end to this ongoing argument. Generally, I wasn't sure that my share of the blame is more than hers. Although Yulana didn't have a drop of guilt on her face.
Beat it. Not cleaning. Ain't nobody got time for that. This is his fault. He started it first.
No, it isn't.
Oh, yes, it is.
I'm not going to start out all this nonsense. Semyon, go grab a bucket, some cloth, you know, that kind of stuff in the closet. And as for you, she looked at Yulana with such a burning gaze that I felt a bit sorry for the girl. You! Start to pick up the broken tableware immediately. Olga took a deep breath and continued. You're nothing but trouble. How many times have I told you? I decided to skip the lecture and went to the closet that appeared to be near the exit. Suddenly, a perfect idea flashed in my head. Why don't I just run away? Sure, Olga has caught us already, but I'm not the one to blame. Of course, I'm not that true pioneer she keeps talking about, but in comparison to Yulana... Anyway, she's the principal culprit. It's not like I have nothing better to do than cleaning up the mess here. I have to seek answers. The truth is out there. Somehow flashed through my mind. It's only fair to help with the cleaning. Nah, running away is hardly a good idea. For starters, Olga has already caught me, and dashing off would only aggravate my punishment. As well as that, I was indeed partially guilty. Of course it was all her fault. But if I hadn't reacted like that, probably we could have avoided the thrashing. Probably. I opened the cabinet and took out a broom, a mop, and a dustpan. Olga wasn't anywhere near Yulana by the time I returned. She's gone?
Can't you see for yourself?
Yulana looked upset. All her youthful spirit vanished without a trace. Okay, hang on. I'll go and wash myself a bit first. I shot her an angry glance and headed towards the exit. I washed the scraps of lunch off myself and returned to the canteen. Well, no escaping it. We have to clean it up.
It's all because of you.
Just a single gaze from her gave me the creeps. Of course it is. It's me who's guilty of everything. It's me who's a local natural hazard.
Oh, shut up.
Still, it's kind of strange that she's not trying to avoid the cleanup duty. Yolanda had a solid opportunity to just run away and leave me alone. But somehow she did the exact opposite. Diligently gathering broken plate fragments, mopping the floor, picking up chairs and tables. In fact, she was so fast that I had a tough time keeping up with her. Well now, aren't you suddenly acting all goody-goody?
It's not like I want to spend the whole day here, you dork.
She still sounded irritated. Listen, you've got to understand that you can't behave like that, at least not to such an extent. For some reason I decided to try and give her a moral lecture.
I haven't done a thing. It was you who was calling me names.
Yolanda grabbed a bucket and a mop and went to the farthest corner of the canteen. Looks like she's still angry. Looking back at the mountain of broken tableware, I finally begin to understand the scope of the catastrophe. We're lucky that at least the forks and spoons are made of metal. We still have something to eat with, but there are hardly any plates.
Hey.
Yolanda called me with a shout. I went over to her.
I don't get it. Why do you hate me so much?
Her face became so serious that I was ready to believe that it wasn't just another trick of hers. Why do you think so?
I have no idea. That's exactly why I'm asking you.
I don't hate you. It's just that sometimes you behave like, well, you know. As simple as that, but still true.
Like what? Like, I have no idea.
She lifted her gaze to me, boiling with curiosity. Well, for starters, what's the idea in pouring compote all over me?
You were asking for it.
She smiled for the first time since we started cleaning. Yeah, sure. I heaved a deep sigh. So, what do you expect from others, then?
Nothing.
She replied acidically. This discussion was over, so I just continued cleaning up in silence. It took us a few hours to fix up the canteen. At last, all the broken tableware was gone. Chairs and tables were in their designated places. The floor looked clean. We were sitting together with Yolanda next to the food counter. Breathing heavily, deservedly resting. Now you see how much effort has to be put in because of a silly trick.
But I'm not tired at all.
Though the sweat pouring down her face told the exact opposite story. Oh well, good for you.
So, what are we gonna do next?
I don't know about you, but I'd rather go.
No, that's not all. You have to...
She hesitated.
To help me with another little thing.
Thinking of another silly prank?
You bet.
She was smiling broadly. I'm not your man here. I'm more than fed up with just one punishment for the day.
Okay, here's the deal. If you help me now, there won't be any more pranks.
Sure, that was an inviting prospect, but somehow I couldn't bring myself to trust Yolanda even for a moment. Well, it wouldn't hurt to ask. So what is your cunning plan?
We're gonna steal the candy.
What? I should have expected something like that. Candy is for kids.
Soon the chef will go out to dump the trash. Nobody's gonna see us.
Count me out.
Ah, whatever.
She grunted and turned away.
Then I'll do it myself.
And I won't allow... I couldn't even finish the sentence, as Yolanda already jumped over the counter, ran to the cabinet, opened the door, and started rummaging through it. Hey, cut that. It's not like you haven't got enough problems with Olga. She didn't reply. You won't get away with just cleaning duty for something like that. Yolanda closed the cabinet. She held a huge bag of candy in her hands. Ah, you little... Put it back! She stuck out her tongue at me and dashed off towards the door. I couldn't just leave it at that. I darted off in pursuit. Sure, the girl had quite a head start, but I still funneled all my energy into the chase. I won't lose her again. We ran through the square, turned at the music club building, and came out onto the forest trail. I'd almost caught Yolanda when she stopped abruptly. I couldn't pull up as sharply, so I crashed into her, sending us sprawling. We rolled down onto the grass. Gotcha! And with that, I'm gonna end the part there. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace.